changes and the end for some or something. Right here, right now. Greetings Rommies and welcome to RomRom.net, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing, and to a regular news roundup. Welcome to the channel, thanks for stopping by. My name is Sarta and I will be your host for this video. If you have any news for us, send us a mail to news@romrom.net. This week was a mix of some earth-shattering news, big updates and, well, other assorted news. Studio 397 did some work on the track limit system they already had deployed and released a hotfix for rFactor 2 for it on Friday. EA will release Shanghai International for F1 22 this Monday free of cost for all those who bought the game. Also, the entries to the Le Mans Virtual Series have been published, a series comprised of 5 long races, of which of course the 24 hours of Le Mans is the longest race and the better known one. Let's see if Motorsport Games survives until the last race, but more on that later. Oh yeah, and of course Meta, Facebook, whatever the f they want to call themselves this week, has disbanded their Responsible Innovation team, which was set up to analyze and consult on the ethics of their products. Because we all know that Facebook has always avoided and will always avoid doing anything even remotely unethical and so. And if you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you. Quite cheap. Assetto Corsa Evoluzione, the better way to expand Assetto Corsa, released its 0.44b version on Friday for all its patrons. Announced as a game changer by Alex Mail, its programmer, it brings a new experience and level system, so you now can see at what level the game places you and how far you are from the next level. As with the game it's inspired on, gaining a level unlocks bonuses and rewards. You can see your progress in more detail in the newly added progress page, where you also will find your achievements. And we know some of you are very keen in achieving all achievements. Something many fans of ACE wanted was to be able to change the length for practice, quali and race differently, and this is what you'll get in this update. One other rather cosmetic change, but that will up the immersion, will be being able to hear the crowd cheering or even hear trumpets. You will have to activate this specifically, but why wouldn't you want spectators to cheer you? You will also get 2 car mods Alex made himself, the Viper SRT10 and the Toyota Celica GT4, which will have their own very specific events. As you can imagine, these cars are exclusive to Assetto Corsa Evoluzione. In what feels like the last goodbye, Wreckfest got a tournament update that retires the leaderboard challenges and makes solo challenges of them, where you only have to best fixed scores set by the team. You will of course still be able to earn fame and buy all the stuff in the tournament shop. The challenges will be kept in rotation, some of them daily, some of them every 2 weeks. This feels like the last hurrah by the developers, and while it's sad that, as far as we can say, Wreckfest may not be developed further, you still can play it alone or in multiplayer, and we won't ever tire of recommending it and say it's one of the best, if not the best simcades in the market. Tons of fun and laughter. Motorsport Games, owners of Studio 397 and therefore of rFactor 2 and NASCAR 21, have announced what they call a restructuring of the company, which has been losing money left and right. Only if we understood the buzzwords right, the only substantial thing that they are doing is laying off people. But let's go bit by bit. Expecting to reduce 4 million in costs until the end of next year, they start by saying that their daddy Motorsport Network LLC is going to lend them $3 million cash advance. Then they say, without giving details, they are going to restructure the company's organization so that they can reduce costs by the aforementioned $4 million. which normally means they are going to lay off a bunch of people. They say they are going to reduce marketing and general and administrative expenses by around 20%, which should reduce their running costs by $2.5 million until the end of this year. Also, they talk about reducing layers of management. If this means they are not going to mess up the next NASCAR game, we're all ears here, but often enough, these layoff orgies end up in what IBM calls the Dead Sea Syndrome, a company-wide brain drain where the better people go away to better jobs as soon as the news drops, which doesn't make the company neither efficient nor does it help it bring out better products. Often enough, those that go are the more creative ones, the more experienced ones, the ones who are willing to try something new, which is the kind of people a company normally needs to stay fresh, but we'd be happy to be proven wrong for once. Also, they are going to reduce the stocks by changing 10 stocks for 1, raising the price of the stock artificially and so being able to stay listed at Nasdaq. They hope this trick will make the stocks more interesting to institutional investors. Well, yeah, hope is everlasting, but with corporate daddy Motorsport Network owning 94% of the MSG stocks, we presume this hope is in vain. In layman's terms, and in our not very humble opinion, Motorsport Games is in deep doo-doo, and nothing we read in the press release convinced us they have understood where their problems lie. One can only wish the other sim racing companies can grab the good people leaving the company, and who knows what will happen to the licenses Motorsport Games holds, as we suppose there are contractual obligations to release a sim. At least this is a clause clever owners of intellectual property normally put into their license agreements. It seems Wreckfest won't be developed further, but if you need a new game to wreck around, the makers of Burnout, Need for Speed and Dangerous Driving have announced Wreckreation, which looks like a mix of Trackmania, Flatout, Burnout and of course Wreckfest, and which trailer we are watching right now, because it seems you can create your own tracks, put obstacles, loops and whatever else your insane mind can think of, and then go ahead and have your friends crash on it while you win. Coincidentally, this game will also be published by THQ Nordic, the same publisher that brought us Wreckfest. Same publisher, different studio, still lots of crashing. No release date has been announced yet. Help us create the content you love and become a patron. Let us spread our wings. Amongst other perks, it will fix your name for posterity like this, but you'll also get to know what we plan and what we're doing. So, a big thank you to our patrons. If you come here regularly, please consider subscribing. As we said last week, see the link up there, this week iRacing published their Q4 update of the year. Apart from the new content we talked about last week, they did also release the Dirt Oval Lucas Oil Speedway, an updated Indianapolis Oval with laser scan data they acquired earlier in the year. Two other updates were for the artwork of the Chevrolet Impala and the Lotus 79. Apart from some cleaning and correcting in the UI, without giving any details, they now say that replays should now load faster. And they've added new sponsors to the paint shop. Sad news, as iRacing won't be supported anymore for users on 8.1 Microsoft Windows. You know, the OS from when the dinosaurs roamed the earth. And one of the worst Microsoft ever produced. Yes, I'm considering 3.11 in my statement and even Windows 11. Race control and qualification logic has been corrected, and the AI can now be used also with all these cars and also in all these tracks. It seems the AI has been improved all over the board, which iRacing communicate in a wonderful tongue-in-cheek language of which I will only quote a couple of morsels. Relationship goals for cornering gears, or the Zen art of serving penalties. The rest you can read following the link in a description, as you can with all the fine details of the update. Like Automobilista 2, iRacing has been working on their damage model. Granted, we're we're talking here about the damages coming from collisions, and iRacing started long before Reza did. Here, the damage will consider the impact energy based on limits set in joules. These will lead also to a damage following accumulated impacts, even if those were smaller. A clever idea which we hope will be used well, because if not implemented properly, it could lead to cars breaking down from bump drafting and similar small dings, which would not be nice and also not realistic, but all in all it's a great step into offering more realism. Apart from that big change, they also corrected other much smaller parts of the physics. If you had an issue in virtual reality where the view would flip upside down, rejoice, as this issue has been fixed. Other issues concerning VR were also fixed with this update. The audio got an update in low frequency effects, meaning your bass shakers will act better. They got a master volume separate from the volume of the sim. The signal has been set so that you should not experience any clipping anymore, nor distortion. This means you most assuredly will have to remix the output again. If the amplifier you use has a limiter on the input signal, something that sometimes skews the sound, you can set up a -10 dB cut from within iRacing to avoid running into the limiter. Also, the iRacing sound people have made new effects for a variety of noises, including backfires, engine blowout and speed limiter. If you use iRacing in Spanish, new spotter messages have been added to the sim. The telemetry got some new variables, and of course, because of the electric Porsche, the units for fuel level are now shown in kilowatt hours if the car is electric. Oh hey, they are using proper international scientific notation. That's surprising. Because of the damage model, GT1, GT4, NASCAR Classic 87 and Next Gen, touring cars and many others got an update with regards to damage. Also, the standard setups have been updated for many of the cars, and a lot of smaller corrections and bug fixes done to a myriad of cars, as always. If you want to know the details, as said, the link to the whole list is in the description. Of course, many tracks also saw bug fixes and corrections, with Indianapolis getting the most and almost all of the tracks getting some cleanup or the other. As always, iRacing keep busy and are adding big or big-ish changes to the sim. Pity it costs selling your children to science. In other news around iRacing, Pukekohe Park is closing its doors forever after almost 60 years of existence. But before they do that, iRacing will laser scan the track and preserve it for posterity, which is great, as I suppose the Assetto Corsa mod is not laser scanned and neither is the R Factor 2 mod. Maybe the official track by Studio 397 was, but that one was made a long time ago. No date has been mentioned for when Pukekohe will be available on iRacing though. While you wait for the track, how about checking the playlist to the left or the video to the right? Until next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other on the podium.